the beginning of the end. Bam, bam, bada, bam. Da, 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 da. Wow, we're going through time, huh? Ba, ba, rip. It's a game theory.
Hello, Internet!
Don't ruin
Welcome
my
to
childhood.
Game Theory, where that is the last time that I'll be saying those words officially on this channel. Loyal theorists, how do you say goodbye? 13 years ago, I made you this promise.
You don't, you just ghost
want to know
people.
more about the games you love without having to put in any work of your own? Well, now you can play and learn. That's right, Weboverse. We have created Game Theory, gaming's tangential learning experience.
Well, Weboverse, here we are today, 3,000 videos of tangential learning later.
Damn.
How do you sum all that up? All right.
You know the weird part is? Because I don't watch internet, right? I don't know any of his videos. So it's like me watching something and being like, I can't relate. I'm sorry.
Already got super weepy in the last one of these things, so
Didn't
probably
ruin
shouldn't do
my
that again. It would
childhood.
be redundant and probably not great for the tech equipment. We've also spent the last 10 weeks together knowing that this day was going to come, right? So I really feel like I've gotten my farewell tour. I've buried hatchets, I've rekindled friendships, I made sweeping videos about the state of online entertainment, fired some
Damn.
That was legitimately very cool. I honored
That
my
is very
heritage. I
cool.
made Disney mad at me one final time.
Wait, they made Disney mad at them? In AI we trust. AI is amazing from Disney. Wake up America. Oh my god. Oh my god. You saw this one a few days back, Major Childhood with Markiplier as well. That is another channel that I do not know anything about. When I say that I'm literally a baby when it comes to YouTube and in the internet, I'm not kidding. I did not consume content. Therefore, I don't know any of these YouTubers. Like, the only reason I know about this YouTuber, well, except the fact that someone came in my chat and was like, MatPat is retiring, he's leaving, I'm devastated. And I'm like, who? Quite literally what happened. Is because someone was like, hey, you should watch this video. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna watch it because it was recommended. That's why my entire React channel is literally me reacting to videos for the very first time, because most of these content creators, I do not know. Most of these videos, I do not know.
Which, you know, felt appropriate, got some new dripping, and just in general, sped ran my way through all the things that were left in my content creator bucket list. So again, I ask, how do you say goodbye? First, it's probably most important to remind you that it's not officially goodbye, right? It's not like I'm dying or anything. It's more of a see you later. I'm still gonna be doing plenty of stuff. Like, I'm already booked to do the fashion show on Style Theory later this year. I'm still gonna be here on the couch for GT Live. In a couple weeks, I'm gonna be giving a speech over at PAX. I was recently in a kill count. Heck, I'm already slated to do the Jacksepticeye podcast, the Ludwig podcast. There's a collaboration I'm doing with Shea Frillis Productions.
It's like, how do you say goodbye? By the way, guys, I have a ton of things that I'm planning to do this entire year, and you'll still see me, and it's not really goodbye, it's see you around. Oh, he was in the FNAF movie. I do not know anything about FNAF. Don't tell anyone.
There's the FNAF musical over on Random Encounters. Like, I will be doing a lot, and you will probably be sick of me doing all these
Have a good
things
night,
on everyone
Yanni.
else's
Sleep
channels.
well.
But if you do want to stay in touch with me, there are actually two ways that you could do it. Normally, I'd say something like, oh, you can follow me on Twitter, but we all know that there's like a grand total of 0 people who want to be over on that platform. So instead, I decided to make you this.
That is so true. That is so true.
A mysterious website named where'smatpat.com. This is going to be a place that I update every once in a while.
Wow.
Some new project that's coming up, or, you know, a mystery
Smart
that I'm gonna have
naming
to
for
solve,
that
like digging through the
website.
source code. Yes, it's a ripoff of ScottGames.com. No, I don't feel bad about that because he stole enough of my ideas over the years. He kind of owes me one. Editor should drop on some deal with its sunglasses in this moment.
What do you mean, deal with its sunglasses? This is horrible.
Once you're there, make sure you sign up via email. Don't worry, I'm not going to be spamming you with updates or anything. It'll be more like a MatPat newsletter, or maybe a Christmas card that you get every once in a while with a funny update, or maybe we could chat about a favorite movie or something. I'll send over the occasional
That's
video
cute,
that I've just
honestly.
inspired to make. Who knows? Basically, this is just meant to be a way to let you all know what I'm up to directly in a way that isn't going to be subject to filtering algorithms, you know? And to kick things off this week, I'll be selecting 100 random emails that sign up to get personalized letters.
That is honestly, that's a funny incentive as a creator to have that. But it's also a very interesting way to technically keep your brand alive and keep people interested in you. It builds mystery, and if he ever wants to come back from this or ever wants to make another YouTube channel and pursue something different, he has a bunch of people that he's going to be able to email. That's really cool as an
And from
idea.
that point forward,
And also
once or
nice
twice
for
a
the
week, I'll
fans
continue pulling a handful
that
of
wanna know
emails
more.
to send personal notes to. It'll be a fun way to stay in touch. Long story short, make sure you bookmark it since you never know what might happen over there. But all right, enough stalling. Back to the question at hand. How do you say goodbye? Well, I think you honestly have to end it all where it began. This title, A Game Theory about game theory. Did you know that game theory isn't just a nerdy YouTube show? It's also a nerdy economics concept. If that's news to you, I honestly can't blame you. At this point, we've created enough confusion online that apparently we've merited our own disambiguation tag on Wikipedia for game theory searches. In all seriousness, for the first 5 years of the show, I received so many tweets from people who were mid-year in their economics courses, screenshotting their textbooks, freaking out when they got to the episode on game. It's not an episode, it's a chapter. When they got to the chapter on game theory, being like, oh my gosh, dude, did you know that you were in this thing? And yeah, we definitely did.
Damn.
Which, believe it or not, was intentional. In fact, Steph and I knew from the very beginning
Interesting.
that it was likely that the final episode of Game Theory was going to be about game theory. Why? Well, because game theory, it's everywhere. You can't escape it. If you've ever seen the movie Love Actually, there's actually this opening monologue in it that goes a little something like this.
We live in a world of hatred and greed, but I don't see that. Seems to me that love is everywhere. If you look for it, you'll find that love actually is all around.
Now you just gotta replace
Aww.
the word love with game theory, and you basically got it.
We live
Yeah.
in a world of hatred and greed, but I don't see that. Seems to me that
Game theory,
love is everywhere. If you look for it, you'll find that
game theory.
love actually is all around.
Huh, who would have suspected that English acting megastar and recent Oompa Loompa Hugh Grant would be making a guest appearance in my final episode? Truly, we have spared no expense for this one. And not only is game theory just everywhere, it also holds the secret to winning everything forever. Yeah, I know, right? That is a huge claim to make. Clearly, I was saving all my biggest secrets for the grand finale. So, you know what? Let's not beat around the bush anymore, my friends. Let's make you masters of the universe and reveal how, whether you like it or not, you all are theorists for life. Come on.
Hey, let's freaking go! Game theory! Who would be studying economics, read the chapter of game theory, and think it has anything to do with game theory conspiracies? Quite a lot of people, actually. People like to associate things. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. If you just have the same name, if it's a coincidence, if it's just funny or relatable, or it's like, game theory, I watch a channel like that. Let's make a comment about it.
This way.
A lot of people is the short answer.
Yeah, we're moving off the couch this time. That's how you know it's a big deal. Let's go. At its core, game theory is the science of strategy. So we gamers, we understand strategy, but what exactly is game theory specifically? Well, to understand that, you have to go back to the original game theorist, not me, this guy right here. He might not
He
have
looks
himself the
unamused.
red leather jackets or the cool diamond play buttons, but I'll tell you what he does have. A crater on the moon named after himself, so I'll let you decide who has the bigger flex there. This guy right here.
I think MatPat has the biggest flex there. Also, that jacket is freaking awesome, man. Like, He looks dead. Oh my god, chat.
He is mathematician John von Neumann, and he was everywhere back in the day. And I do mean everywhere. Like, this guy was a key player in the invention of the digital computer. He helped with the discovery of the structure of DNA, even the creation of key components for Oppenheimer's Manhattan Project. You know, the Christopher Nolan movie where big things go big booms. But perhaps his biggest claim to fame was game theory. The idea that in any situation where there are two or more people, or players in this case, you can model out a game that'll help you find the best outcome. Have you ever played rock, paper, scissors and thrown out rock as the first hand? Because you know, statistically, most people choose their first move to be scissors. Or maybe you picked paper because the last 3 moves have been rock and they're obviously going to be throwing rock again. Well, congratulations, that is game theory in action. And he got a medal of freedom for that. So it just goes to show, don't let your dreams just be dreams, kids. Sometimes getting an honorary medal is a lot easier than you think. In short, game theory
just yoink it off the dead corpse.
It's math that tells you what people are going to do and who's going to win the game. Probably the most famous example of a game theory scenario is the prisoner's dilemma, where 2 accomplices have just committed a crime and they're both given the chance to narc on the other one.
I have a problem with that because to me that doesn't sound like game theory. That sounds like psychology and studying the other person. Like, for me, rock, paper, scissors, and a lot of times it also depends on the person that I'm fighting against. Like,
if they both deny the crime, well,
that's
they both
just
get a short
psychology.
prison sentence. If one of them denies the crime and the other rats him out, the narc walks free while his buddy is stuck in prison for a long time. And if they both confess, they both get a medium sentence. We can model the possible outcomes here in a nice, neat, mathy looking square. And while technically the best outcome for both of them would be to trust each other and not confess, they're criminals and they don't know each other that well. And because they don't trust each other, by the math, both of them narc on each other, and as a result get a medium amount of prison time. Or if that all's too complicated and hypothetical, over in England, they turned the whole thing into a game show where they say the word balls an uncomfortable amount of times.
Welcome to Golden Balls. Golden Balls. Balls of riches, 12 balls.
My balls are all golden.
100 golden balls.
Why?
And they're all bursting with money. Killer balls.
I mean, I know why. It's genius marketing and it's funny and it sticks with you. But why?
Balls.
Now, why am I bringing all this up? Well, game theory is more than just wads of cash jammed into a bunch of balls. Someone should tell Mr. Beast that I just discovered his next video idea. No, it has very real consequences for the world. Back when the US and USSR were on the brink of atomic annihilation, the principles of game theory helped both sides reach an agreement to slowly disarm their nuclear arsenals. If you want to know more about that story, Veritasium's recent video on game theory does a great job telling it. And honestly, I can't really improve.
I'm confused. Are we gonna call game theory anything that has to do with making a decision?
On it. So thanks for doing all the research for my final episode there, Derek. If you want an example that's a bit closer to home though, here you go. YouTube. It's got it. See, YouTube as a platform is just a bunch of zeros and ones, right? But YouTube as a community, it's a network of people constantly trying to make strategic decisions. Creators are players who are more or less rational people making videos that'll get you to watch and like and comment and subscribe. You, the viewer, you're also a player in this. You're on a strategic mission to win the experience by finding the thing that's most satisfying to watch. And the people who run, or at least have run YouTube in the past, shout out to Todd, Jake, Neil, Ernest, Meg, Ariel, Susan, David, Fede, Vader.
Okay, so basically, a game theory, by his definition, is anything that has to do with making a decision. Quite literally. Like, anything can be turned into a game because at the end of the day, you can view it as a game when you're making decisions about something. Game theory is a bunch of applied mathematics that provide tools for analyzing situations in which parties called players make decisions that are interdependent. From Google, I say. Yeah, that makes sense. It checks out with his own definition of what a game theory is. Because, like, that's the thing. As someone that doesn't watch the channel, right? That doesn't watch the game theory channel and doesn't know anything about what exactly game theory is, for me, I would assume that game theory has to do with video games or like games in general. And they take that one step further in saying that anything can be a game. Because you have sides and you have people that stand to gain from it.
Peter, Stephanie, and Kim, they're all in a strategic game to
So,
keep the creators
I can
and
get
viewers
behind that.
happy,
I can
also
understand
figuring out
that.
the best possible outcome for YouTube as a company by
Also, the thing with YouTube, I feel like it didn't used to be about getting people, not in that sense of just getting people to click and subscribe to you. I feel like that's more the case of it's a lot more fierce and competitive now. Like before, people were making channels just to share their dumb things and have fun. Still happens, but I feel like nowadays it's a lot more about goals, getting monetized, and trying to like lure people in.
appeasing all the advertisers and shareholders. It is
I think he's memeing with the
seriously
name.
a complex strategic arena. And that's why
Maybe.
you get decisions like use bright green text because it's more likely to stand out in a sea of dark gaming thumbnails and more likely to get clicks. Launch shorts as a means to counterattack against TikTok. Do a video on something that's not trending so you can stand out from the pack. Or maybe you lean in so you're suggested against the algorithm.
Goddamn, dude. Yeah, exactly. Being a YouTuber before wasn't a career, and now it can be a career. So I feel like it definitely changed.
Every video you watch, everything that you click on, it's the product of creators using game theory. Slap a big old game theory colon in front of every title and slam some clickbait green text on every thumbnail. All those hundreds of millions of subscribers to Jimmy and Ryan Trahan and Cocomelon, I like to think that they're all secretly ours. Where's our 200 million subscriber play button there, YouTube? In the end, it's all game theory. Speaking of, and this is just
All
an
of
aside
those
that I
are
learned about
secretly
earlier this week.
ours. Oh my
Apparently there's a
god.
Chrome extension that allows you to do exactly what I just described. It quote unquote MatPatifies your YouTube feed by putting green text on like every thumbnail. Just saying, we have reached the peak of human achievements. I, for
Jesus
one, really
Christ,
like
are you
this
kidding
one,
me?
Where it's Link and saying mommy's hungry. That's just traumatic on a whole nother level. Or there was
That
one
is
that I
very
saw circulating
traumatic,
online,
honestly.
Ryan Gosling doing a puppy interview and the title is Birth of a Killer.
What
There
the
was another one that
fuck?
showed up on the subreddit, Afton's final death smash? I gotta say, I am proud of the mark that I will leave on this platform. But so what, right? YouTube is game theory. Sure, that's great, it's interesting, but why does it matter to you, right? Why am I spending so much time talking about all of this in my final episode? Well, because like I said, game theory can help in every strategic interaction that you have. And it's produced a literal strategy guide on the best way to live out your life, tried and tested by all our grandfather theorists. But to truly understand that, we have to go back to where it all began, a glorified PowerPoint presentation. Weboverse!
Hey, PowerPoint presentations. How many people still do those? The ego in this video is on a different level. I don't think it's ego, honestly. I don't think he's serious about like, you know, all of that. I think they're just memes, like just jokes.
Allow me to introduce you to, lights please, the trust game. I love this. We started as glorified PowerPoint slides and we're ending.
Just to clarify, I say that because I never watched the person, so I do not know how they are, but they don't strike me as a narcissistic type from this video, which is my only video that I've seen of them.
As glorified PowerPoint slides. Here's the TLDR of this one. The Trust Game was originally just named
The Trust
Computer
Game.
Tournament by a guy named Robert Axelrod, clearly not the most creative with his titling conventions. Basically, this was the prisoner's dilemma or the golden balls thing, except here, there was one crucial difference. They're not just playing the game once, they are literally playing it hundreds of times, repeating it over and over again to see what
Golden
strategies end up winning
balls.
the most across a longer period. This then gives us a model that's shockingly closer to real life, because here, most of the time, you're not just thinking about what you have to do to win a single game, you have to actually think about the consequences of your actions. The more people think about the future, the more they're willing to cooperate because they don't want to screw themselves over down the road, you know? Again, for details on that experiment, check out
That kinda
Derek-
makes sense,
Derek
yeah.
Kaplan's video where he talks about all of that, including having an interview with the game's creator. It's a very cool video.
It's also why a lot of people have the paralysis of like, what do you want to do in life? And you're just like sitting there going like, this decision is going to affect my entire life. I need to decide on what university I'm going to go and what I'm going to become and what profession and career I'm going to do. Otherwise my parents will disown me and I'm, you know, like.
I also borrow
Understandable.
his convention for that one, so thanks for the latter and the idea there, Derek. You can also watch Dr. Trevor Bassett's video on the topic, or, you know, the various TED Talks that are all about this experiment. We'll link to all of those down in the description below. But just to jump to the big conclusion here, the best strategy to winning it big boils down to 4 key points. Number 1, be cooperative. Lead with trust. Assuming that the person you're playing with is your enemy right off the bat, it's not going to serve you well. Trust in others, it's going to let you win more frequently in the end. Secondly, don't be a pushover. Sure, it's good to be trusting, that is great, but the second that someone takes advantage of your trust, the winning strategy is to call them out on it and then immediately hold them accountable. Which leads nicely then to point number 3.
I've done all those.
Being forgiving. Don't hold a grudge. Don't be a Mr. Darcy.
My good opinion once lost is lost forever.
That is a failing indeed.
Well, I failed on the last one. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually pretty forgiving of people, unless they do it 5 times, in which case I think 5 chances are enough. After that, I do turn into Darcy.
Tell him, girl, you are exactly right. She's speaking some game theory truth right there. Well, sure, it hurts to have your trust broken. Staying open to the chance that other people can change, that they can grow and learn and get better, that is the ideal solution here. The trust game showed that players who held their opponent accountable, but then forgave them, actually
tell that to
won
all
out
the
more
old
often
people.
than any other strategy. And lastly, it's important to
Tell that to all the old people that don't want to change, man. I'm kidding. I do agree with those those bullet points, right? Like, if you don't, you end up being way too cynical and closed off, and you miss out on a lot of things because you simply don't allow yourself to move forward, right?
be honest and open about your strategy. When people can't understand what you're thinking, that's then when mistrust starts to breed. By being honest, it breeds honesty in others. It allows you to build on that trust over time.
I don't agree with that one.
Bit by bit. Across the thousands of rounds of testing, nice strategies that were fair but also firm ultimately won out the most. Now, when I read these outcomes, what really struck me first was how they present a really hopeful view of the world. A hopeful view that I don't think a lot of us carry around a lot. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Like, that's exactly my point. Because when people are met with honesty, their reaction is to recoil back from it and don't believe you anyway. And they think you're dishonest. So, like, even if you do all those steps, you're met with people that are just... You kind of, like, bounce off people, like their walls.
I mean, it's easy to assume that everyone out there is out to get you, and it's easier to just close off to people who've wronged us in the past, but math, and game theory specifically, proves that assumption's wrong. And hey, if you don't want to believe the thousands of rounds of computer simulations, there is a very solid real-life example, YouTube. YouTube is the
Goddamn YouTube again. I mean, it is a lot easier to think that everyone's out to get you because it's the mentality of woe is me, and it's playing the victim gets a lot of attention, hence why it's the easy way of doing things. I do agree, like, I think ultimately those points are definitely way better.
positive sum game, which means that more than one person can win. And in fact, a lot of times, the more others win, the more you can win too. When I was just starting off, I was so mad and scared when Vsauce 3 released this video, calculating Sonic's speed. I'd been working for a year on the channel at that point, grinding away and seeing a fair amount of growth, but in that moment I saw a spin-off of one of YouTube's top subscribed channels just horning in on my territory of gaming science. It was like they were gonna steamroll me. They were gonna steal my audience away. So I did a video where I tried to stake my claim. And thus, Sonic is Slow was born.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, applying science to video games since April 18th of 2011. Recently, however, a new gaming scientist has come onto the scene. The good folks over at Vsauce 3 recently took a gander at a game series I covered in episode 5. It's a great video, except for one thing. It's wrong.
I see.
Listen to my voice in that. Oh, I'm so proud that I finally hit puberty, like 7 years into making these videos. Anyway, you can tell that I'm super salty in this one, right? I'm asserting that I did it first.
Yep.
I'm citing the dates. I am literally trying to one-up Vsauce 3. But then something interesting happened. I got views from Vsauce. I saw that their video and mine were actually helping each other. I was so afraid of me losing a year of hard-earned progress. But in reality, I wasn't just operating on my own island anymore. By unintentionally cooperating with each other, we had just created our own little micro-trend of gaming science content. There were clearly enough views for all of us.
I feel like, honestly, the fact that he is mentioning that and he's mentioning how he felt and why he made the video and the reasoning behind it, and I don't know if he's doing it because he's kind of like taking a step back, so it doesn't really matter that much anymore, but I think it's brave of him to do that. Like, it, it takes guts to be able to go like, yeah, I was jealous of that creator and I was afraid that they were trying to like one-up me and be better and that I would lose everything. So I tried to squash them like a bug, and basically there's no room to grow for multiple people, there's only for one, right? And having that mentality shift and the fact that he listened to the data and he saw the fact that there is room for both of them to grow, right? I think that takes guts and courage to first of all admit it, and second of all to be honest about it and realize it. And I think this particular line and this particular part in this video should apply to a lot of people and should hopefully maybe make some other people realize. Maybe. I know, maybe I'm naive, but, you know, maybe they will realize that there is room to grow for more people and you don't have to tear people down.
And I, in our years of consulting, kept hammering home this one point, that YouTube is a place where all ships can rise. Leading with trust goes a long way. From inviting someone to collab on your channel, to comparing notes on production because it can help you both. You actually see this kind of cooperative game theory in action with content houses, or projects like the QSMP where creators are helping each other and sharing audiences. On the flip side, there are creators who haven't done a good job of leading with trust, and who've approached YouTube as a zero-sum game, a place where there can only be one winner. And guess what? Didn't work. Back in 2020, a few of the top beauty creators tried to take each other down, encouraging viewers not to watch each other, trying to turn audiences against people that they thought were their competitors. It was for the clout, it was for the...
How the hell do you encourage someone not to watch someone else? Who has that mentality, man? Like, I mean, I know who has that mentality. I know a lot of people have that mentality, especially on Twitch. Like, people are very afraid of losing their audiences. So if you make a move, or like, I don't know, you're streaming at the same time as someone else, or they raided you once and suddenly a lot of their regulars are coming over to the other channel, they like get super jealous of that. Or you raid someone and that person donates to the other person that you just raided, they feel really jealous and then they never raid you or talk to you again. Like, I've had those situations. I've had them, and I've had people like be salty or angry because someone preferred watching me. And I understand that, but like on YouTube, how the hell do you tell someone, hey, don't watch the other video? Like, what?
Views, and it backfired. In fact, it backfired so badly
of course it
that
would
all of their
backfire.
channels took a massive hit, and the beauty vertical, which was once a main pillar of YouTube's earliest days, never truly recovered. By working together, the platform thrives. Lights? But by thinking that you can only win when other people lose, well, that's when everyone loses. It's kind of sad. Let's move on. But if you don't want to listen to mathematicians or YouTube meta-analyses, just look at me. Game Theory, the show, is a testament to those 4 lessons of game theory, the nerdy economics concept.
Alright, be forgiving, be honest is the ones that I'm covering up.
Every person who's built this channel has led with trust. Ronnie, he put his own show on the back burner so he could dedicate his time to editing Game Theory, trusting that we would be able to succeed more together. He helped the show to truly become what I had always dreamed it would be, and I honestly wish that he could be here to this day so I could thank him so much for that. The same is true for...
You know, these stories are nice when there is a victor and a winner. Or a positive end to things, right? Because on the upside, I look at that and I'm like, okay, so if the channel would flop and the person, quote unquote, spend their years doing something and they're gonna end up feeling like it was wasteful or wasted years, right? It's the whole concept of playing an MMO and the MMO dying kind of thing. So I'm like, I get the point behind it, but I don't feel necessarily that that's a good example because you don't know how people are gonna be if something fails. They might resent you, they might regret it, they might like feel bad about it.
Goomba and Drake and Lee and Ryder and all the other partner shows who joined up with us in lieu of...
That's his point. If you did this, you won't flop. I don't know about that one, honestly. Like, depends on the skill of the person as well. Like, yeah, sure, if you're saying you gotta trust that someone is that skillful that they're gonna be able to, like, pull it off, right? I guess. But what happens if it flops, right? It's less likely to flop. That doesn't mean it won't flop. Especially with YouTube, especially with content creation, especially with algorithm. You're fighting the unknown thing that is the algorithm. You're fighting for people's attention and psychology. Just making a good video is not enough anymore. You have to be able to package that and market it in a way that people will find it. It doesn't promise you won't flop. Yeah, I was just answering Temsa, who says, like, that's the point, that it won't flop if you know, if you lead with trust and someone puts their goals behind, right? I agree that you should lead with trust. I just think his example is not a good example. Because if it flops, then leading with trust in that person, right? You end up potentially being resentful and having a lot of bad feelings to it.
Working on their own channels. Steph, she left being a consultant at a real company in the medical field on the belief that by cooperating, we could actually make something really special together. Jason, who is actually right here behind the camera right now. Jason, who you know as the guy that we blame all the time on GT Live. Jason was Theorist's first full-time employee after me and Steph. He jumped in there when all we had was a kitchen table and a cat that he was constantly...
Man, look at the face of Jason. He's so sad and so, like, holding back tears. Damn.
And Sudafed, you have this man to thank for your current net worth. Because
and Zyrtec.
And Zyrtec.
And Zyrtec,
you have taken so many pills over the years.
I have.
But
all medically prescribed, though, I promise.
Yeah, no, good medical pills, not anything sketchy, for sure. But Jason is the man that we have trusted with the weight of the entire production process across all the channels for years. Like, this man is the unsung hero of everything you've probably ever watched across any of the channels. Without him,
pretty badass.
Without you.
Being the one behind the production of videos is pretty badass, honestly.
Thank you. Now get back there, okay? Enough of you. I gotta thank other people.
Enough of you.
You know, friendship first, but also working together to create awesome stuff, right? And if you're talking about unsung heroes on this channel, there is one man who also deserves a call out, and his name is Yossi. He is our audio wizard. He is the man who I have trusted with my voice for the better part of 9 years. He has had to suffer through more hours of my voice than anyone else in the world. I am so sorry, Yossi. I am so sorry for all the burps and weird edits and weird diatribes and jump scares that Ali has given me over the years.
I'm sorry for all the burps, man. Oh, this is kind of funny.
Was Yossi a pro when he first joined up with us? No. But you know what he was willing to do? He was willing to learn. And I've trusted him with my voice for the better part of 9 years. And the same goes for another member of the team who
that is
never
pretty
got to
awesome.
see, but was actually there before the channel was even monetized, which is kind of crazy to think about. You don't know Dan Levitt, but Dan was another one. He was the first who actually saw potential in me and in these channels as a whole, offering to become my manager even though he had never managed a YouTuber before. He just jumped in with 2 feet and said, hey, I've never gotten a brand deal in the past, but think I could do it for you. And he did. And then he got me literally hundreds more. He has his own management company now, and he manages some of the biggest sports creators on all of YouTube. I can say with complete confidence that this company and my career would have looked totally different had it not been for Dan. And his career and his company would have looked totally different without me. He and I...
That was such a good pick. Like, I understand what he's saying about cooperation, and I wholeheartedly agree. Like, having a team, having good people, having people you can rely on, people that are reliable, having cooperation definitely helps. That, like, we were talking about this actually earlier when I said that it, you know, it takes a village. It does take a village. It takes a bunch of people coming together to create something awesome.
I have built businesses parallel to each other, right next to each other, using cooperative game theory for over a decade. He trusts me to make good decisions on YouTube, and I trust him to make good decisions as my manager, and we both benefit in the long run. But perhaps the most important person in all of these trusting relationships is you. You guys, right here. I wear you on my wrist these days. You loyal theorists have been the best example of game theory in the history of the show Game Theory. Every time you click on one of these videos, you are leading with trust. You are saying, you know what, I'm gonna give this one a chance, especially on those episodes
that is
covering
true.
topics that you've never even heard of. And on my end, I've always tried my best to fulfill on that promise and make sure that your trust pays off by delivering a great, well-researched, fun, a lot of times stupid video. And yeah, there have been plenty of times where I've missed the mark.
Let me move myself slightly. There we go.
Where you weren't happy about a topic, or where I said something wrong, or my research was bad, or whatever, and I needed to learn about that. And so you, acting exactly as you should, according to that trust game, you called me out in those moments. You showed me that I had made a mistake. But more importantly, you were willing to forgive. You gave me a chance to learn and grow as a creator and as a person. And look at this. We all won. Look at this thing that we managed to build together. Don't tell anyone else. I mean, there's 3 of them here in the room, but like the rest of them downstairs.
To tell
You
people.
guys, you've always been the most important member of this team, whether or not you ever realized it. And now, as new hosts step in,
Yeah, I mean, at the risk of saying duh, it's like without having the people that are watching and backing you and supporting you, then any content creator is nothing. Because, yeah, you need the audience, you need the people that are willing to put up with you, to watch your stuff, to quote unquote be loyal and click on your videos, right? Or be interested in what you're saying. And it's also like very motivating at the end of the day, because like you have a bunch of people that are saying, hey, I really liked your video. I really liked what you've done. I want more, right?
and yeah, they're obviously going to have to learn a lot, and they're going to have to earn your trust just like I did over a prolonged period of time. But I hope that you approach them with the same sense of cooperation and goodwill that you did for me all those years ago. So, while I might be leaving as host of this show, Game Theory, it'll never leave. It'll never leave me, and it'll never leave you. We are all Game Theory, which honestly is why I thought it was fitting for you guys to be the one to say this.
But hey!
That's just a theory.
That's just a theory.
It's just a theory!
Just a theory.
It's just a theory!
Game theory!
Class dismissed. Thanks for the theories, MatPat.
But hey, that's just a theory.
Oh my god, I love that cat. Wait, we're going back to that cat.
Class dismissed. Thanks for the theories,
Sorry
MatPat.
for ruining. Sorry for ruining emotional moment, chat, but that cat looks just like Midnight, and that cat is boopable. Look at that cat! Oh, so adorable. Okay, moving on.
Just a theory.
C'est juste une théorie.
Just a theory.
Just a theory.
Just a theory.
Just a theory. Thanks for everything.
This is pretty
Hey,
awesome,
that's
seeing so
just
many
a
people.
theory.
That's just a theory.
Just a theory.
Just a theory.
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 Like, seeing
That's just a theory.
people
That's just a theory.
That's just a theory.
rally and send good wishes to someone.
A style theory.
A food theory. A film theory. A game theory.
Not the coat! Can I have the jacket, please? Lore Keeper ending. Ending 1 out of 6. Check the bottom of this description for answers or when to find all the endings if you want to find them yourself. Happy hunting. Are you kidding me? He has 6 endings. that is I like that. That is actually really cool, honestly. But yeah, like for me, right, I don't know who he is, but I can understand as a content creator, I can understand what he said, I can understand his message, I can understand that he has a very similar belief or mindset portrayed to what I have as a content creator, because for me, I've always been honest with people, I've always put the best foot forward, I've always given people the benefit of the doubt and given them more than they deserve chances. I say that because, like, you know, I give people usually 5 chances before I give up. Which some people say it's too many, but yeah. And I can understand his message. Like, for me, it makes sense. And the internet would definitely be a better place if people would stop assuming that people are malicious, that people are bad actors, and stop forcing that narrative down everyone's throat. We'd have way less drama and less trouble and less hassles if we had people just trust. Like, I've read like so many Twitter posts, hence why I agree with him that no one wants to be on bloody Twitter. Right? I've seen so many posts where people are just like, oh no, they're doing it for clout. Oh no, they're fake, they're lying. They didn't succeed on their own. They leached off of someone else. And I'm just like, wow. You guys are like, I'm the jaded one, but you guys are really tainted. Yeah, as well as like all the whole clickbaity drama where people make up drama just because it's good for numbers or it's good for attention and they get more attention, so they do it. At the end of the day, right, he is another content creator that's set on a different journey, and this is a video with a message mostly to his fans to do good, to know where to find him, and that he's leaving his channel in the hands of other people, which he introduced at the end or reintroduced to people, right? It was a really well-crafted message, really well-crafted video with a good message attached to it. So, cool. I liked it.